I handle the primarily the back end of the tool, and a lot of the benefits that we've seen has been the ease of use, the implementation of it, the actual transition, because we had an existing product prior to, and we were moving from our vendor product to ITSM, and at the time we were very concerned about how long it was going to take us to actually do the upgrade. And it actually turned out to be not a long and arduous process, as we thought it was going to be. So the biggest things that we've noticed has been the actual performance of the tool. In Maxima, we had lag, and again, that's more or less because it was a shared tool, whereas we had a dedicated tool now. So when we went to the tool that we're now using, right, and SDM, we noticed that the performance was so much more increased than it was in the past. I mean, people were noticing pages were like, they maybe take like 10 seconds to come up. It was almost instantaneous as soon as they click submit. So that's the biggest hurdle that we had to overcome, was just to demonstrate how much more of an increased time to resolve an issue we can give our customers. We've had a few outages and a few bugs that we discovered. We've identified them and we've brought it up to CA's attention. They actually were very quick to get us a resolution towards that. We did have to work with our sales team to make sure we did have the right individuals in place. But once we did that and we reached out, we did get a fast resolution. The scalability of the solution has been very well. We think that it could definitely grow with our organization. It's just a matter of dedicating the resources needed to actually get that accomplished. When we first started developing the tool and putting it out there, we didn't actually scale it appropriately where we needed to. So I think for companies looking forward, the biggest hurdle I think they need to do is actually look at how much they actually plan to use of the tool initially, and also gauge in the future how much they think they're going to grow, and not overestimate or at the same time underestimate the actual usage of it. Because at the time when we first did our development actually and implementation, we didn't actually scale appropriately, so we were not dedicating enough resources to the tool. So all those bugs and issues we were discovering initially were partly self-inflicted wounds that we had to overcome. So once we then worked with CA and said, well, it's not really so much of a bug or problem, it's because you only got one core dedicated to this and you can't do much with just one core. So once we started getting our ducks in a row and start saying, well, how much do we really want to dedicate to the tool and how much do we want to see ourselves in the future? Once we started getting those aligned into our business needs, things started to work a lot better. There was a couple actual legitimate issues that we had, because we started off with 14.1 and we were one of the first customers to implement that. So there was definitely going to be some growing pains and some things that we discovered. Once we brought it up to CA's attention, we've had like a mixed bag at first. And I think that's probably because the tool was so new and there was not many people on the service side that were really intimately familiar with it, as they were with the past tools. We were constantly getting the, hey, we know it worked in version 12.7 or 12 whatever. I think it should still work like that in this new version. And once we actually started getting into it, and it matured a little bit over a couple of months, the support got a lot better. I would definitely say it's an 8. I'm not going to be super positive and super negative, but yeah, it's an 8. Room for improvement, I would say, from a back-end perspective, I would say they need to streamline a lot of the code that they're using. I think it's very bloated. I think it has a lot of extra things that it doesn't really need. Things like, for example, USS and Life Array. I mean, it's a great implementation, and I think it can be used together if it was done appropriately, but we haven't really seen much of a benefit in the way the tool works for our needs. For other companies, I'm sure they've managed to implement the tool and find a way to work with it, but we haven't had that kind of luck. But I would say in those terms of actually getting a lot of the stuff in the back end, from my perspective, is to take a lot of the stuff out, look what they actually need, streamline the product, and then push it out forward.